A good evening to you and welcome to News at 8 here on Church of Uganda Family TV. My name is Hope Nyongereza and on the sign language is Winnie Buyinza. We take a look at our news headlines.
Headlines brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977. Among them we have Ateso, Luo, Runyankole Ruchiga, Runyoro Toro, and many other Ugandan languages. Contact us on 0756 174 168 for more information.
In our headlines, new policy will strengthen nursery and school administration through clear standards and professional training of caregivers and teachers. State Minister for Primary Education, Honorable Kaduchi states as Minister of Education and Sports, set to unveil the new early childhood care and education policy.
This is a policy that is put in place to coordinate, to have a very structural way of running nursery schools. And this is a policy that is going to inform all implementing partners in the field of nursery that we are here to start a journey, a structured, well-coordinated journey.
And NRM releases roadmap for Chikube LC5 by-election primaries. Aspirant nominations set for May 7th to 8th as campaigns begin May 10th.
Then Wednesday 29th still, we are calling upon those who are interested in standing. When to express, they will come and express their interest and pick nomination forms. So they are beginning on Wednesday today and ending on 6th of May.
Elsewhere, Mali Junta chief makes first appearance since rebel attacks.
brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977. Among them we have Ateso, Luo, Runyankole Ruchiga, Runyoro Toro, and many other Ugandan languages. Contact us on 0756 174 168 for more information.
You are welcome once again, and starting us off tonight, the Ministry of Education and Sports is set to unveil the early childhood care and education policy, a framework expected to streamline nursery education, professionalize caregivers, and strengthen learning standards across the country. Now, ahead of the official launch, stakeholders today took part in an awareness walk through Kampala to rally public support for early childhood development. We have more details.
Uganda is set to take a bold step in transforming its education sector with the launch of the Early Childhood Care and Education ECCE policy. Official unveiled tomorrow at Nachivubo Blow Primary School under the theme Strong Beginnings, Strong Future. The policy will streamline pre-primary education by settling standards, improving supervision, and ensuring quality learning for young children. Ahead of the official launch, the Minister of Education and Sports today organized an ECCE walk through the streets of Kampala. The walk attracted education officials, teachers, development partners, parents and civil society actors all united in one message: invest in children early. Organizers say the public awareness drive was meant to highlight the importance of early childhood education and mobilize support for the new policy. They argue that investment in young children lays the foundation for healthier families, better school performance and stronger national development. State Minister for Primary Education Honorable Joyce Moriko Kaduchu says the new policy will strengthen nursery school administration through clear standards and professional training of caregivers and teachers. She says this will help improve quality, consistency and fairness in early childhood learning across Uganda.
This is a policy that is put in place to coordinate, to have a very structural way of running nursery schools. And this is a policy that is going to inform all implementing partners in the field of nursery that we are here to start a journey, a structured, well-coordinated journey. A journey where we start a nursery from 3 years of age, just like this young boy, up to 6 years. Then from 6 years, we go to primary.
The minister adds that government wants nursery education to move beyond informal structures and become a properly managed part of the national education system. She says the Ministry of Education will now have great authority over the supervision and regulation of nursery schools nationwide.
We've never had a policy before of how we run our nursery schools. Much as it is a privately run by the private owners, but the ministry remains 100% in charge. We are in control. We have to offer directive. We have to offer roadmap. What are the critical things to teach for these children? We are saying we do not want a lot of education, academic teaching. It is a play matter. It is a social education, social etiquette.
According to the minister, stronger oversight will improve accountability, child safety, and service delivery in the sector. She also reaffirmed the government is directive barring schools from operating their care centers, insisting that child care services must be properly regulated under the ministry's mandate.
We are telling the country, daycare centers are not part of nursery schools. Daycare centers from 0 to 3 years, these are centers which should not be within the premises of nursery and primary schools. These are centers which are to be within the premises of workplaces. They are to be in the markets, in other institutions where mothers who are working are offered a place for their babies to stay as they work.
Stakeholders in the early childhood sector have welcomed the move, describing it as long overdue. Vice Chairperson of the Network for Early Childhood Development Actors in Uganda, Joseph Kabanda, says the policy demonstrates Uganda's growing commitment to prioritizing children during their most formative years.
Previously, each one of us has been operating around ECD, but doing it maybe differently. There was no clear guidance on how the learning spaces should look like, concerning teacher training, concerning registration, concerning management committees.
Kabanda says the framework will help strengthen systems for learning, protection, nutrition and care, ensuring children are prepared not only for school, but for life.
It is going to improve coordination. It is going to improve data, because it is going to help us to ensure that everyone working around ECD has their data into the EMIS, which is managed by the government of Uganda. So we shall have data about every ECD center in this country.
Uganda, like many developing countries, continues to face challenges in access, affordability and quality of nursery education. Many early learning centers operate without enough trained staff, proper learning materials, or consistent standards. Experts believe the ECCE policy could help bridge those gaps if fully implemented and adequately funded. As Uganda moves to reform education from the foundation level, the access of this policy will depend not only on regulation, but on investment in teachers, infrastructure and child-centered learning. For now, hopes remain high that the country's youngest learners will finally get the strong beginning they deserve. John Baptista Honza, Church of Uganda, Family TV News at 8.
The government of Uganda, together with its development partners, has today launched the National Guidelines on Health Education and Life Skills for Out-of-School Adolescents and Youth. The launch took place in Kampala and aims to address the growing challenges faced by young people outside the formal education system. We take a look.
Developed under the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, the guidelines seek to tackle issues such as early pregnancies, substance abuse, mental health challenges, limited access to sexual and reproductive health services, unemployment, and poor nutrition.
Allow me to launch it by signing it, but I should not be used to launch. This is a disclaimer. Let me launch something that will be implemented. We should stop launching without implementation.
Officiating at the launch, State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, Baramu Warugwahara, emphasized the urgency of implementation.
I've encouraged the people who are in the hall that we should stop launching programs and guidelines and we don't implement them. Why do we launch for taking tea and taking photos? At the end of the day, you find people wearing suits and ties that they are launching, they are attending workshops and seminars. What we need now is to work the talk.
The minister noted that issues such as defilement and early marriages continue to affect many younger people, making health education and life skills a critical government priority.
The guidelines on adolescents, young people who are out of school, these guidelines will help our young people living in communities, in the different communities, wherever we live, who are out of school, to be cared for and to be looked after to ensure that they are not exploited by drug dealers, drug sellers, by people who take advantage of the babies and children, to have premarital sex with them, to have sex out of marriage, to make them conceive to have unwanted pregnancies, and all these other dangers that affect the young people.
Stakeholders in the health and youth sector have welcomed the move, calling it timely and necessary. Margaret Nanyombi, Programs Manager at the SRHR Alliance Uganda, said that the guidelines fill a long-standing gap.
It has been long. We've been waiting for this document for some time as civil society organizations, because as civil society organizations you find that we do a lot of work with out of school young people, but we've been missing a document that guide us, that guide our work, and sometimes the government stops us to take certain information to the young people, even if they're out of school. So what we did as civil society organization, we had to advocate, but also to facilitate the government to ensure that we have a guided document that will guide the work of civil society organization.
She also urged the government to translate the guidelines into local languages to make them accessible to all youth, including those with limited education.
Because in most cases you realize that these young people out of school, they have special needs, they have unique needs, but they don't know what to do. Even the parents, they don't know what to do with them. Even the people around them, they don't know what to do with them. And at the end of the day, they choose the way to take. Some of them, you find them abusing drugs.
Patience Namanya, Coordinator Sexual Reproductive Health, called for increased focus on parenting, nutrition, and the boy-child in implementation efforts.
We also do not have the appropriate information to give to our children, to pass on to our children. And so it looks like even as the parents, we need to be parented. On nutrition, the young people are not feeding well, and this impacts so much on their health and their productivity. It is only a healthy population that can be productive. We need to bring the boy child on board like yesterday. It is good that the girl child has been, empowered. We've done all these things, and we have benefited, including me. But we need the boy child also to be empowered.
Development partners have also backed the initiative, emphasizing the need for evidence-based approaches. Representatives from the United Nations Population Fund and the Kingdom of the Netherlands, including Bowie Jean Soding and Christine Borks, noted that effective implementation could help reduce child marriages and gender-based violence.
It is indeed a bit overdue already, because it was really time, and it was mentioned by the Commissioner. It was a long journey. It was a journey with quite some potholes, but in the end, these guidelines saw the light. And that's good, because having certain things on paper that is specific for Ugandan situation, it's good that we can bring the information to the out of school, to the youth, and hopefully those also will serve as guidelines for the in-school youth.
Gonna get information one way or the other, and this is our way of ensuring that the information that they get is good and high quality and accurate.
The guidelines were developed through a consultative process involving government ministries, religious and cultural leaders, civil society organizations, youth representatives and development partners. Julius Mhumza, Church of Uganda Family TV, News at 8.
Now, the National Resistance Movement Electoral Commission has released a detailed roadmap for party primaries to fill the vacant LC5 chairperson seat in Chikube district, following the death of chairperson-elect Peter Banura, setting key dates for nominations, campaigns and polling as the ruling party moves to identify its flag bearer for the forthcoming by-election. We have more details.
The National Resistance Movement Electoral Commission has unveiled a detailed roadmap for party primaries to fill the vacant LC5 chairperson seat in Chikube district following the death of chairperson-elect Peter Banura. Speaking at the party headquarters, Commission member Alisemera Jenny Babiha confirmed that the process is already underway with expression of interest and nomination forms closing on May 6th. Formal nominations will take place on May 7th and 8th.
Then Wednesday 29th still, we are calling upon those who are interested in standing. To express, they will come and express their interest and pick nomination forms. So they are beginning on Wednesday today and ending on 6th of May.
Joint campaigns are scheduled to run from May 10th to May 20th after the campaign program is drawn on May 9th. During this period, voter register updates and verification will also be conducted at the village level.
Then Thursday, 7th, Friday 8th May, nomination will follow at the NRM EC headquarters. Saturday, 9th May 2026, drawing of campaign program with candidates. That is at the DOs in Kikube. They will do it with the DO district elections officer at the district in Kikube. Sunday 10th to Wednesday 20th May, we shall have joint campaigns in Kikube. That will be at the district.
Polling for the NRM primaries is set for May 22nd, with the winner to be declared as the party flag bearer ahead of official nomination later in May.
Monday 11th to Sunday 12th May 2026, we shall have update and cleaning of voters register, NRM EC at the village headquarters, at the villages. Every village will have its register cleaned. Then Friday 22nd May 2026, polling and announcement of results. We shall have a polling day on 22nd May 2026, and then we shall announce our flag bearer.
Babia emphasized the strict eligibility requirements, including NRM membership, residency in Chikube district, and a minimum of advanced level education.
Have minimum of A level or its equivalent. Equivalent means if you have done senior 4 and then you have other papers like certificate, 2-3 years in any institution which is recognized by government, then you qualify, you go and they first give you certificates of equivalent. So it is senior 6 or its equivalent. If you have masters, you have bachelors, you have PhD, there is no problem. But the minimum is A level or its equivalent.
Also ruled out participation of public servants, security personnel, and cultural leaders. Addressing concerns of bias, Babiha assured the public of a fair process, stressing that no candidate, including the relatives of the late Banura, will receive special treatment.
It is the people who come up and start saying, let the son or the daughter or this one do it. If they do it, it is upon them. But for us, we don't have anybody, we don't say, go and take the son or the daughter. We are neutral.
The roadmap marks the beginning of by-election process as the NRM moved to select its candidate for the Chikube LC5 seat.
Now, the Minister of State for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Wilson Basumbadi, has urged Ugandans to prepare for the country's refined oil and use it productively, saying it will play a key role in boosting Uganda's economy and strengthening regional trade within the East African community. He made the remarks at the closing of the 11th Oil Conference as Uganda moves closer to releasing its first refined oil to the market.
The 11th Oil Conference concluded today at Speaker Rizoti Munyonyo, marking a significant milestone in Uganda's journey towards oil production. General Mbadi said refined oil will accelerate industrialization, noting that its byproducts will support agriculture and other key sectors of the economy. He called on Ugandans position themselves to benefit from the emerging opportunities.
It is linked to the rest of the economy. The building of linkages between extractives and wider economy can occur when domestic firms are participating in providing the inputs. And I think this is being taken care of in the local content policy around this sector. Each United States dollars 100 million increase in crude oil and gas exports is estimated to add $86 million to normal GDP, and this generates nearly $153 million in output.
Delegates from across the region described Uganda's oil sector as a major opportunity for Africa's transformation, calling for unity and strategic cooperation in managing the resource.
The good news is that opportunities from oil can be capitalized upon adopting a set of stringent fiscal rules, full transparency, institutional independence, and a clear diversification strategy.
We can learn from other oil-producing countries to make sure that we use the revenue to finance our agro-industrialization, cosmetics, sports, film, and other emerging industries. But we must do so while providing clean energy for our emerging cities and generations to come.
Energy security today demands more than production. It demands integration of infrastructure, of markets, of policies, and of partnership.
Meanwhile, Sylvia Muringe emphasized the need for institutions and individuals to embrace technology in managing oil operations efficiently.
That is in the field, a pipeline in transit, a fuel depot in distribution, a regulator monitoring compliance, and a supplier delivering services. These all must operate together at the same time coherently and visibly. And that is what digitization does. It connects all these parts into one ecosystem where information, operations, and decisions are able to move together.
Experts also exchanged ideas on leveraging technology to ensure citizens benefit from the oil sector.
What does a digitized ecosystem in oil and gas look like?
Data analytics and AI. So today, as SOB, we leverage on the capabilities of AI to do automated subsurface interpretation. For example, if you have seismic data, you have prediction data, you can quickly use AI and machine learning to be able to do subsurface interpretation.
The role players in the oil and industry space, you've got people in the oil rigs, you've got partners, suppliers, and enterprises, and for all those, you can imagine that there will be money changing hands. And as we digitize, all the work that my colleague has been talking about, we also need to make sure that money flow keeps pace with all those transactions in a very efficient way. So we've been working the last 16, 17 years preparing for this moment, because we know that.
Humphrey Asimwe from the Uganda Chamber of Energy and Minerals noted that while the projects presents vast opportunities, there is need to equip young people with the knowledge and skills required to participate meaningfully.
Munnayuganda alina kumanya nti amafuta gano esente ezivaamu zigenda okuyamba okutumbula embeera yaffe ffenna ng'Abannayuganda. Kikakatikako okulagana ne ba parliamentarians baffe oba ababaka baffe okumakinga sure nti sente eziva mu mafuta ago zikola omulimu gugulina okukola.
Following the conference, delegates are expected to visit oil exploration and production sites tomorrow to gain first-hand insight into ongoing operations.
Have to talk about.
Well, now let us listen in from the Archbishop.
Archbishop's Moment, sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now. And
St. John's Wakiso Secondary School, where faith meets education.
God is calling us and He wants a response. When He calls, He wants us to respond. Like Isaiah said, "Here I am, send me." What are we seeing here? We are seeing readiness of a person. God is calling us for ministry, and He wants our readiness. He wants our availability. Availability. What you have to do is to respond, here I am. And you avail yourself. Once you do that, the rest leave them to Him. That's why I like the way we are trained in life ministry training. I was trained by life ministry, and I am TOT student, trainer of trainers. I was trained, and I like this, which I can't forget it. God is calling 40 people, the faithful, available, and teachable. The fat ones. But He's also calling, because you would be scared, you would think He's only calling the choir master here, the fat one. He's calling every one of you, the faithful, available, and teachable. But He's also calling the fats, faithful, available, teachable, and sendable.
Archbishop's Moment, sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now. And
St. John's Wakiso Secondary School, where faith meets education.
Indeed, when He calls, we must answer. So it is very, very important that you even take time to heed to God's voice, so that you can be able to answer responsibly. Well, that's the message for tonight. Let us go for a short commercial break, but do stay tuned. We'll be back with more stories. Welcome back. You are still watching News at 8. Now, Uganda is intensifying efforts to sustain its HIV response in the face of declining donor funding, with government officials, religious leaders, and health experts meeting in Kampala to explore more locally driven solutions. Now, at the faith sector, health and sustainable HIV financing dialogue, stakeholders highlighted the need for stronger domestic funding and deeper involvement of faith-based institutions in prevention and care as new infections continue to affect young people, women and children, despite past progress in reducing HIV cases and deaths. We take a look.
Uganda has reduced new HIV infections from 100,000 in 2010 to 37,000 today, and HIV-related death from 56,000 to 20,000. However, challenges persist, including 4,700 child infections annually, high infections rated among women, and late treatment among men. Speaking in Kampala, John Kaita, representing the Ministry of Health, said Uganda must increase domestic health financing as donor support declines. He noted that government is considering raising the healthy budget to about 6 trillion shillings next financial year.
At a regional level, Africa region, there are also discussions along how can Africa finance its healthcare, as opposed to depending on our partners, the donors, to increasing financing to health this financial year, this coming financial year, at least to 6 trillion.
Following the withdrawal of the USAID support, we provide supplementary funding and committed to sustain this support. Under the US bilateral agreement, Uganda will invest up to $50 million in health over the next 5 years.
When we had the pulling out of USAID, owing to the executive order of President Trump, the government put in some money and a supplementary to try. Also, we signed the USG bilateral agreement. Under the USG bilateral agreement, there was a commitment by government to put up to about $500 million into the sector over the next 5 years.
His Eminence Geronimos Muzei, acting chair of the Interreligious Council, emphasized that religious institutions remain key partners in healthcare delivery, particularly in hard-to-reach communities.
Our networks, which include hospitals, clinics, and community outreaches, are closest to the people. We are often the last line of defense against disease and the first point of care.
He noted that faith-based hospitals, clinics and outreach programs often serve as first point of care and at times the last line of support for vulnerable communities. He called for a forward-looking plan to sustain these facilities amid ongoing funding challenges.
We have not only treated bodies, we have nurtured souls, offering hope and compassion in the face of diversity.
Sheikh Muhammad Waiswa, representing Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaja of the Interreligious Council, called on Ugandans to embrace regular HIV testing. He emphasized that testing is free and should not be stigmatized, but treated as a personal responsibility. He also urged action on social factors driving infections among young people and stronger protection for children.
As we talk now, it is a danger, and therefore we need to appeal to our people to get back to what we were in fighting HIV disease, especially by testing our soil.
Dr. Peter Wakuvo, head of monitoring and evaluation at the Uganda AIDS Commission, said religious leaders are trusted voices who can help reverse worrying HIV trends.
No, religious leaders are key. They deliver information, they are counselors, they are listened to by
He noted that the next generation remains at the center of the new HIV infections, calling for intentional guidance of young people using values such as abstinence, faithfulness, and responsible decision-making while translating faith into practical action.
Protect the next generation. The young people at the center of today's challenge, they have rights,
they have gadgets, they have information. How can you help us? Please don't.
He urged churches to integrate HIV messages into youth and family ministries and strengthen their links with healthy facilities, many of which they already run to better protect adolescents and women.
The values we talked about, the ABC, it still works. Nobody has ever died because of abstaining. For me, I have collapsed and died because I have abstained. Nobody.
Reverend Emmanuel Koboy, Church of Uganda Provincial Youth and Students Coordinator, emphasized the need for youth-friendly HIV messages in schools, communities, and on social media to help young people make informed decisions before entering long-term relationships.
Within this country, as a faith-based institutions, especially as Church of Uganda, I think we play a key role, especially when it comes to reducing and sensitizing our populations about HIV and AIDS.
The dialogue ended with a candle lighting ceremony in memory of those who have died for HIV-related illnesses. Participants agreed that ending HIV as a public health threat will require stronger domestic financing, renewed faith-health partnership, and community-driven awareness to protect future generations. Emmanuel Alengai, Church of Uganda Family TV, News at 8.
Well, moving on, Uganda is stepping up efforts to safeguard its cultural heritage in the face of rapid urbanization as the country prepares to mark International Museum Day 2026. The government says a strengthened legal framework is now in place to protect historical sites and cultural resources, while key institutions such as the Uganda Museum undergo major renovations to meet international standards. Officials say the upcoming celebrations will not only highlight Uganda's rich heritage, but also support tourism growth and economic development. We have more.
Responding to the concerns about the impact of urbanization on Uganda's heritage ahead of International Museum Day 2026, State Minister for Tourism Martin Mugara affirmed that government has established a robust legal framework to safeguard the nation's cultural resources.
Of course, modernity threatening our culture. It's a global challenge, and that is why we exist. And that's why we have the Museums and Monuments Act signed by the President. For us as a government is protect these resources for you. We will try, we have no say in managing the trend of what the young people are interested in, whether it is AI today, whether they think what we're displaying is so archaic that they don't want to relate with. Ours is to make sure we store it for you, even for the next 1,000 years.
Speaking at a press conference, the State Minister for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Martin Mugara, announced nationwide celebrations for International Museum Day 2026 set for May 18th. He said the theme highlights culture as a unifying force and aims to both preserve Uganda's heritage and boost the country's sustainable economy.
The forthcoming celebrations of the International Museums Day 2026. And this year's celebrations will be celebrated in Jinja on Monday the 18th of May this year. And the theme for this year's celebration, the international theme is Museums, Uniting a Divided World. And our national theme as Uganda is Museums as Bridges of Unity and Shared Heritage, which resonates with Uganda's commitment to leveraging culture as a foundation of reconciliation, inclusion, and sustainable development. This year's International Museums Day celebration is anchored on the Sustainable Development Goals, specifically the SDG 8.9, which is to promote sustainable tourism that creates jobs and promotes local culture and products, local culture and its additional products. Then the Sustainable Development Goal number 16.
He added that museums and several sculptures across the country are under construction or renovation, noting that the government has partnered with cultural kingdoms to ensure these sites are protected and developed to international standards.
The status of the Uganda Museum is the construction is still ongoing. I think we're even doing beyond what we are meant to do in the first phase. So that is good, or a plus for us. And probably next year, we intend to open. By the time we come back for the next celebrations, we intend to open.
He highlighted strong growth in the tourism sector, citing a notable rise in the number of visitors over the past year. He also assured the public that Uganda Museum is under renovation and will soon reopen to international standards. While 18 tourist sites are already established, he added that more are planned, including new attractions in Luwero.
It was actually one of the best performing, because if I remember the figures then, I think we closed in 2024. But if you look at our figures for 2023, I think we had done around 131,000, and in the following year of 2024, before we closed, I think we had done around 260,000. So we had doubled our entries into the museums 100%. So you can see the growth trajectory or the trends of growth. Unfortunately, it has been closed, but it's good that we are now opening others out there where people can go and visit. So maybe she will speak to the current figures, but our biggest contributor was the Uganda Museum. And I want to assure you, just be patient with us. By the time we open that place, it will be unbelievable.
He emphasized that cultural preservation is a shared responsibility, urging communities, families and institutions to actively participate in safeguarding Uganda's heritage.
Now, the Parish Development Model National Coordinator, Dennis Galabuzi-Sozi, has announced a new set of reforms aimed at strengthening the implementation of the PDM, with a strong warning against embezzlement of community funds. We take a look.
Launched in February 2022 with the goal of transforming 39% of households from subsistence farming into the money economy, the Parish Development Model has, over the past 4 years and 2 months, attracted an investment approximately 3.78 trillion shillings. In a renewed effort to strengthen service delivery and fast-track the achievements of its targets, the Parish Development Model National Coordinator, Dennis Galabuzi-Sozi, has unveiled a set of new measures aimed at enhancing the program's effectiveness and ensuring strict accountability in the use of funds. Speaking during a press conference at the Uganda Media Center, Galabuzi issued a firm warning that government will not tolerate any misuse or mismanagement of PDM resources. Among the key reforms is the introduction of the Parish Revolving Fund, which will target vulnerable households within each ward. Access to funds will require registration with the respective ward PDM circle.
Now, every member of the parish from now on should register or can register. Let me say can register because it's not mandatory, but can register and be a member of the circle. So we have two categories, the enterprise groups, and every member, every household in the parish can be a member of the circle.
He explained that the reforms are intended to strengthen the PDM system and drive regional economic growth. The changes also include the establishment of district-level training centers to equip beneficiaries with business skills and loan management knowledge. In addition, community-based facilitators will be deployed to guide and support beneficiaries on financial and development matters.
Have special general meetings to amend the PDM circle bylaws to formally reflect the new membership categories. No parish resident should be turned away. We noticed this when the president would ask members of the audience and the places we had gone to whether they were part and parcel of the activities going on in the circle and whether they knew their leaders, and most of them kept on saying, no, we don't, and they didn't participate. That was because they had to belong to enterprise groups, which would make them eligible to participate. Now we are opening it up because the PDM as a strategy is for everyone in the parish.
Galabuzi clarified that PDM funds are not personal handouts but are designed to support community-based development initiatives. He noted that nationwide efforts are going to operationalize PDM circles and elect leadership structures to oversee the program.
Many people look at the PDM circle as merely a lending institution. It's there in the brief. Using this circle, we are saying that this circle is a multi-purpose cooperative, because I can also use it for marketing. Collective bargaining is one of the biggest things in marketing produce, agricultural produce. We wish to unequivocally call upon any parish resident that may put themselves forward for elections to the PDM SACCO board or supervisory board, regardless of their economic status. And the leadership of the PDM SACCO does not require wealth. It requires integrity, a genuine commitment to the parish, proven experience in community leadership, and a sincere willingness to volunteer in service of neighbors.
He further revealed that government is aware of irregularities in the system, including cases where non-residents are registered as beneficiaries and misuse the membership fees. He urged communities to be vigilant and elect competent SACCO leaders, emphasizing that the leadership team will run for 4 years.
Drinking alcohol and diverting it into many activities. But I will tell you, even those who have done that, which we don't encourage, and we shall continue sensitizing them about it, have spent that money within those parishes. And that money is revolving. That money is serving that parish. There is an economic revolution happening silently, but it shouldn't be happening silently. It should be amplified so that people know the importance of this program.
And with that, let us take a look at our news headlines.
Headlines brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977. Among them we have Ateso, Luo, Runyankole Ruchiga, Runyoro Toro, and many other Ugandan languages. Contact us on 0756 174 168 for more information.
In our headlines, new policy will strengthen nursery and school administration through clear standards and professional training of caregivers and teachers. State Minister for Primary Education, Honorable Kaduchu states as Minister of Education and Sports, set to unveil the new early childhood care and education policy.
This is a policy that is put in place to coordinate, to have a very structural way of running nursery schools. And this is a policy that is going to inform all implementing partners in the field of nursery that we are here to start a journey, a structured, well-coordinated journey.
And NRM releases roadmap for Chikube LC5 by-election primaries. Aspirant nominations set for May 7th to 8th as campaigns begin May 10th.
Then Wednesday 29th still, we are calling upon those who are interested in standing. When to express, they will come and express their interest and pick nomination forms. So they are beginning on Wednesday today and ending on 6th of May.
Elsewhere, Mali junta chief makes first appearance since rebel attacks.
Brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977. Among them we have Ateso, Luo, Runyankole Ruchiga, Runyoro Toro, and many other Ugandan languages. Contact us on 0756 174 168 for more information.
Well, that wraps up our news bulletin for tonight. And of course, a special thanks goes to the news team, to the person in the control room, but most importantly to you, our dear viewer who watches us every day. My name is Hope Nyongereza, and on the sign language is Winnie Buyinza. We wish you a good night.